What up? What up, everybody? What's good? What's good? It's your boy C. About to get into it, man. About to give y'all my life story, how I became a seven-figure business owner and entrepreneur. From struggling to make ends meet to becoming a self-made millionaire. This is my story. How I turned my dreams into a reality. Alright? I'm gonna share every step of the journey with you in this 20-minute video, hopefully. So check it, man. We're gonna focus really on the last 10 years of my life. I'm 40 years old currently, so we're gonna focus on my last 10 years of my life. So essentially, how did I do it? Well, right around age 29, 28, 29, I got tired of the rat race. I wanted a change. I wanted better. So what did I do? I did some research. I always had an itch and a curiosity for real estate, but from a traditional perspective, from the realtor aspect of it. Now, I was infatuated with house flipping and being a landlord, so that was always in the back of my mind. Even as a teenager, I had an uncle who was a realtor when I was about 16, and I seen how he was doing his thing in the real estate business, so that kind of always stayed in the back of my mind. But nonetheless, got tired of the rat race, did my research on real estate, went out on faith, got my real estate license at age 30, 2015, 10 years ago. Age 30, got my license, signed up with Keller Williams. And see, at that time, back in those days, I don't know how it is now, but back in those days, I was paying a desk fee. So I was paying like $100 a month, and it was taking like 30% of my commission check. So I actually ended up doing my very first traditional sale as an agent, as a buyer agent. I'll never forget. And it took about 3 months. So 3 months in the game, I got my first taste of a real estate commission check. Changed my life. I made about $5,500. So mind you, at that time, I'm 30 years old, living in my mom's house, living check to check, struggling. Eating polio tropical every day. If you're Floridian, you know what I'm talking about. So when I got hit with 5Gs, I'm like, oh snap, I made $5,000. And that transaction was smooth. All my realtor buddies can relate. That transaction was smooth. We had the inspection, appraisal was great, got through underwriting, closed, got a commission check. So I'm like, well, man, I need to quit my job. So I procrastinated. I procrastinated for about almost 2 years. But the man upstairs, the Most High, had better plans for me because I kept procrastinating. Even though I had my license, I did another transaction as a buyer's agent. I represented my sister on her first home that she purchased, and I made another commission check. That was the following year, so 2016. I got another, $4-5 grand. I'm like, oh man, living great. But in my world, 4-5 thousand ain't much these days. But nonetheless, I was procrastinating, and finally, I got fired. That's right, I got let go by AT&T. Shout out to AT&T. Thank y'all for changing my life. So once I got fired, I was going through things personally with the children, with my mother, the mother of my children. Going through that, I kind of hit rock bottom. I lost my job. My kids they left. They moved away from me. And I had my license though. I had my license. So check it. I kind of hit rock bottom. I was living in my homeboy house. Still didn't have my own house. I was 30 years old, right? Maybe I was 31 at this time. Might have been 31 by this time, 2016. So I had a decision to make, man. Like once I got fired, I looked myself in the mirror and I'm like, after I got fired, I took a couple of days just to like decompress. I was depressed, by the way. I was depressed and I didn't know like what was my next move in life. I was 30 years old. I didn't own any property. I wasn't making no money. At AT&T, I was making like $47,000 a year. To me, at that time, like, I'm like, shit, man, I'm struggling making 47 G's a year. And, I had did all my research prior to getting my license. I'm like, listen, real estate agents are doing good. Even though I didn't know much about real estate itself, I'm like, listen, I'm not doing it. So I decided with myself, I'm not working for no one else ever again in my life. Told myself that 9 years ago. So guess what? I did not fill out another job application. What did I do? I went and found a new broker, and I went at real estate full force, full time, full fledged. Okay. So late 2016, got with a new broker. I became a 100% full time real estate agent, y'all. Your boy was showing properties. I was chasing listings. I was doing rental deals. I thought I was, I ain't gonna lie, I thought I was a shit. I thought I was doing it because guess what? I wasn't making that much more money. So like 2017, 2018, I was only making about maybe 60, maybe. So I had increased my salary, by 10, 12,000. But I kind of got bored with the realtor shtick, the realtor gig. Like, I'm like, this shit is basic. Like, and I'm the type of guy, I'm always curious. I'm always inquisitive about any and everything. So what did I do? I started my own brokerage, y'all. Yeah. So I left my broker, passed the Florida brokers test, and I became a broker. So what did that mean? I opened up my own brokerage, and I had realtors working under me. Now, I partnered up with someone. We started the brokerage. We had a great location. Things were great for about a year, but honestly, I wasn't feeling it. So I dissolved that. So here we are again, the end of 2018. It's like I'm back to square one at 2016. So those first 2.5, 3 years full time in the game, I did good. I was making 60K. I didn't have a boss. I was essentially an entrepreneur. I had freedom, which was a great feeling. Once you become a real estate agent, you make your own schedule. There's no oversight. There's no micromanaging. So I was like, man, this is the good life. But again, I got bored with going to a listing appointment, being a buyer's agent, showing 30 properties, getting rental clients flaking on me. I was like, bro, there's something big out there. So lo and behold, I had been working for my previous broker. I never forget. She was in real estate. She was a broker for an investor. So one of her clients was a big time investor here in South Florida. So me being the guy that I am, I'm always, what they say, the squeaky wheel gets the grease. So what did I do? I met him, and he showed me a little things about, investing, showed me the foreclosure list. And from there, I just kept failing forward and getting bits and pieces of information about wholesaling and house flipping. Not to mention, I did a couple of sales transactions on his house flips. So I put two and two together. Like, again, I'm inquisitive. I'm curious. I seen how much he bought the property for. I looked it up on the property appraisal website. And then I seen how much he sold it for. And then I looked at the house and I'm like, I wasn't no expert at the time, but I can estimate like, damn, look like he put about 20, 30,000 in this. And I'm like, well, shit. He walked away with $95,000. And I'm getting a commission for 3%. I'm making $7,500. I'm like, well, what end of the stick do I want to be on? What part of the business do I want to be in? Do I want to be the realtor getting the 3%? Or do I want to be the seller getting 97%? So bam. After I dissolved the brokerage, that was December 2018. Now this time it was a little different. I had experience. I had got good at, talking with people. Real estate is all about people skills and communicating. So I was confident in myself. What did I do? I said, you know what? It's time. Started my own wholesale business. I went on the bench. I went on a wholesale YouTube University bench. Like whatever I can get my hands on as far as information and knowledge. January 2019, bam. So 6 years ago, started my own wholesale company. So mind you, I came from the realtor world. Now I'm in a different arena as far as real estate. I'm no longer a traditional realtor. I'm now an investor, wholesaler. I'm not trying to get the property at a high price. I'm trying to get it low and get my fee in the middle. So 2019, jumped out on faith. When I tell you, it was back against the wall. I had no, 2019, I really came in the game with maybe $3,000 left over from a previous commission. I really had nothing. All I had was a foreclosure list, door knocking, driving for dollars. Let me say that again. I came in the game 2019 with about 3 G's left in my bank account. All I knew was I can door knock, I could cold call the foreclosure list, and I could drive for dollars. Now, eventually, I implemented those strategies. I got my first deal in 30 days. Again, I was good at communicating. I've always been good at communicating and getting deals done. So, got my first check. Never forget, 30 days. Smooth transaction, by the way. My very first wholesale deal was lickety split. Like, it wasn't nothing too, outstanding or crazy. No liens, no code violations, no squatters. I didn't have to deal with nothing crazy. I made a cold call. The young lady had got behind. I'm sorry. The young lady had got behind on her payments. She was on the foreclosure list. She knew she had some equity in the property. I think about 30,000 she walked away with. She wanted to relocate to Orlando. I compensated the whole transaction. Now, at that time, I really wasn't too keen on ARVs. I wasn't too keen on my numbers. Like, I probably could have made more. I made 8 G's. But when I made the 8 G's, I'm like, well, damn. There was no inspection. I had to, realtors, y'all know, there was no inspection. Okay? No inspection period. There was no appraisal. There was no underwriting period, bro. It was a cash deal. So that was my first ever cash deal. I seen how smooth the transaction was. I'm like, bro, when I was a realtor, I had so many obstacles that could have arisen and hurdles. Like the inspection could have, who knows what it came up. The seller could have canceled if it was a low appraisal. Underwriting, the buyer, didn't get qualified for the loan because they didn't work enough hours or they didn't file their taxes in time. I didn't have to deal with none of that shit, bro. Cash deal. I set a closing date. The closing took place. I got my check right there in my company name that I created. I'm like, bro, proof of concept. Like, this is a lick. From there, 2019, I did my first deal. I think I finished that year with about 6 deals. I made my first 90. I made 6 figures that year, y'all. I made 6 figures because I made about 80-ish. I made like 85 from my wholesale deals. But I had some leftover like buyers and rental clients that was still in my pipeline from being a realtor that I just went ahead and finished those transactions. And listen, let me just say this bit of advice. Realtors, if you're going to cross over from being a realtor to a wholesaler, you gotta let the traditional world go. So it was tough. Like, I'm like, man, I don't want to let go of these. I had a good buyer, pre-approved, 400,000. Once I closed those transactions, bro, that was it. I never looked back. If someone called me like, hey, I'm looking to buy a house. Nope. I referred it out. So from my wholesale checks and my, realtor checks, I made about 100,000. At the end of 2019, I'm like, snap. And in that same year, I bought a property. I bought my very first property. So remember, I told y'all I had been living with my mom and living with my homeboy. Man, I had got my money up, bro. I bought my first property. Guess what I did with that property? I turned it into an Airbnb. Now, I'll talk about that in another video, but that property was a success. So I had made enough money from my wholesale checks. Probably like 3-4 months in, I bought my first property, y'all. Things start going good. I'm like, shit, I'm turning the corner, man. I'm 32. Like, I finally a homeowner, got my name on the property. I made 6 figures. I'm like, man, okay. You know me. The bigger the risk, the bigger reward. So guess what? 2020 rolled around. My lovely fiance at the time, we were 2 years in our dating relationship. She wanted to get in the game. I talked Gigi the game. And I think it was one of the best decisions I ever made as far as business-wise. Not for us. Yeah, for us, yeah, it's great as far as being a couple and being, business partners, whatever you want to call it. But we partners at everything. So once she got in the game, I scaled the business. The business scaled because she was a natural at sales. She had people skills. She was good at talking to people. I said, listen, you're going to learn the game. Just listen to me. So she got cold calling down pat. I had got more knowledge on different types of lists. I got the tax delinquent list. I got the probate list. So 2020, man, we rocked out. I bought my very first real deal investment property. So did Gigi. I bought a duplex. She bought a single family home. Years later, those deals were big headaches in the beginning. But to this day, we still own one of those properties, and it's an amazing cash flowing asset. And it's part of the reason why my wealth is in the 7-figure range. But nonetheless, I'll do another video on my first investment property. But from there, it was just the rest is history. What's the old cliche saying? The rest is history. We got our first rentals. That single family house. Me and Gigi actually took a big gamble on that early 2020. I want to say late 2021. So the following year, maybe I was doing, 8 to 10 deals, maybe like 8 to 12 deals. Gigi was doing 5 to 7 deals. So we had deal flow. We had cash flow from one rental, and we just expedited and scaled our business, and the rest is history. Kept compounding. Now, it took a lot of work, y'all. It took a lot of work. It took a lot of risk. And to this day, I'm still putting in merit. I'm still paying my dues. I'm still busting my ass. But that's what it takes to be the elite. That's what it takes to be the best. That's what it takes to be the cream of the crop. The top 5% percentile. So from 2021, that single family that I mentioned, we did a little, light renovation, like 15K. We had purchased it. I think the numbers on that, we purchased it in 2020 for $150. We turned around and sold it for $295 like a year and a half later. And that money was our seed money. That money right there was our seed money. From there, snowballed. We started buying more rentals. We started buying more flips. And I had to get better at managing money. I had to get better managing contractors, because I made a lot of mistakes along the way. Scumbag contractors ripped us off in the beginning. Making big mistakes, blowing $100,000. We've been there, done that. We've blown $100,000 multiple times, but now I look back on it, it's like, hey, that was a learning curve, it was all a life lesson. So now, 7 years in the investment game, going on 7 years, I got so much wisdom. I've learned so much. I've failed trial and error. Same with Gigi, that financially, I feel like I'm at the peak, but I still got more room for growth. And that's what we're going to do, man. So if you're inspired, leave a comment down below, man. We've 10x'd our business, 10x'd it. God has blessed us beyond measures. It was all behind our faith, work ethic, and our relentless mindset to never give up, y'all. So let me leave that. Let me end the video with that. Never at one point, even through my toughest times in the beginning stages of wholesaling and, you know, going out on faith as a full-time realtor, I never ever wavered, even when I was, you know, hustling rental clients to pay rent in 2017 when I first got my first condo, to, you know, waiting on a wholesale deal to close to pay my bills early in the game. I no longer have those worries because I now have cash flow. I have rental properties that pay for my lifestyle. But never at one moment I thought about quitting or tapping out. That's the key. Consistency, never give up. I'm out, y'all. Peace.